Something happened between my 24 female husband 28 male and my friend 25 female. Should I get her side?
I, 24 female, and my husband Adam, 28 male, have been happily married for 4 years. Things have always been good with us, we rarely fight and have big future plans. My friend Alice, 25 female, recently broke up with her girlfriend and was kicked out. Alice has a son from a previous relationship that is staying with her mom, but they have a poor relationship so she is not allowed to stay there.
I offered for Alice to stay with us because we have been friends for over 10 years and I can't just leave her on the street. This was 2 weeks ago.
Alice has a telework job. I work until 7 p.m. and my husband works until 4 p.m. so he is home with her for a few hours every day before I get there.
I trust my husband so this didn't even really cross my mind. Yesterday, I came home and Alice wasn't there.
This was weird because she doesn't have many friends or a car so she's usually in the house. Adam was at the kitchen table so I went and gave him a kiss like I normally do but he seemed off so I asked what was up.
He said Alice came onto him. I was stunned. I've always trusted her and I thought she was a lesbian now so this is out of left field. Of course I called her immediately thinking I'd need to tell her to stay out of my house but she is swearing that Adam came onto her. That she said no but that he insisted so she left to her mom's house. I don't know who to believe. I plan to meet her after work today to hear her side but Adam is stonewalling me and insisting he did nothing. He says I am breaking his trust by listening to her and I should just block and move on and put her stuff outside. Adam and I have always had great trust and a good relationship. I've never had a reason to think he was a liar in all the years I've known him. Alice hasn't lied to me either and I don't think she has motivation to ruin my marriage. I don't know who to believe. Should I hear Alice out or just trust Adam? Too long did not read. Friend is living with me, she claims my husband came onto her and he claims vice versa. He doesn't want me to talk to her because it's a violation of trust. Should I go and talk to her or believe him? The fact that your husband won't tell you what happened is very suspicious. He doesn't get to stonewall you. He needs to tell you every detail. The friend's life might be a mess but I don't understand why husband wouldn't just tell you the whole story. And that she's a lesbian makes it very unlikely she'd have any interest in your husband. Suggest to your friend that you have cameras in your house that record 24/7. Ask her to come clean. See what she says. If my so's friend came onto me, you can guarantee I'd be sharing a timeline of events with my so. The fact he's refusing to discuss what really happened is extremely suspicious. Your friend that got kicked out by her ex then her own mom sounds like the least trustworthy of the two. I have a sneak-in hunch that husband is lying about how things went down, because the friend ran to her mom's house. They don't get along. How awful must it have been, that her friend was willing to go to her mom's house? I don't trust the husband as far as I could throw him. I had a friend who is a lesbian and this was something that happened to her a few times. And I believe her because she hates men touching her sexually. She's more reserved around them too. I mention this because this is how she'd get accused. And it was always about making her seem like she was lying about being a lesbian. 32M partner does not like my 32 female child receiving gifts? Update. We are no longer together, see no evil. Partner 32M does not agree with my 32F child, 4, receiving gifts? Hello Reddit. Throwaway account for reasons. I 32F and my partner 32M are in a disagreement. We have been together less than a year. I am a single parent of a 4YO child who's never met their father and does not have any relationship with him. Bio dad, BD, is in contact with me, but does not wish to pursue any relationship with our shared child. This is fine. This works for us. He lives across the country. BD sent gifts to my home for my child last Christmas, and it worked out well. My child received additional items that I would not necessarily have been able to afford all on my own. My child's birthday is coming soon, and BD would like to send gifts. My partner is not okay with this. I informed him of the incoming packages so he is not completely blindsided, as my contact with BD has been an issue in the past. He does not like me speaking to BD or sending photos, frequent updates, etc. Since this issue came up, I have cut down substantially on our contact. However, I do send him medical documents, updates, etc., when they are relevant.
When I let my partner know about the gifts, he asked me why BD knows our address, said he needed to think, and said he is not interested in being in a triangle. He asked me why I want him sending things and that this makes zero sense, as to why I would allow this. My response was that I did not understand how sending birthday gifts was a problem. It would be no different than if BD just sent me extra cash to buy the gifts.
My partner said birthday gifts come from people who are close, like friends or family. He also asked me why I didn't ask him before BD purchased the gifts.
He ended up saying he cannot rationalize this in his head and it does not make sense to me, but it does not make sense to me why it's an issue.
I see it as saving me money and my child getting what they want.
So, Reddit, what is your take? Edit. My partner commented below, throw a sneaky crab.
BFS comment. You and the bio dad have figured out an arrangement that works in terms of parenting.
Now this boyfriend of less than a year thinks he can come in and make demands to change that?
He's ridiculous.
Don't date controlling stupid men.
Of course your child should be getting gifts from her biological father.
It's sad that he currently doesn't want to build a relationship with her, but at least cards and gifts keep the door open and make him the guy who lived far away, instead of the dick who completely ignored my existence, when she gets older and starts asking harder questions. No, gifts are not a substitute for a relationship, but they are proof, tangible proof, that she hasn't just been forgotten, and that's a better place to begin. As for your boyfriend of less than a year, your parenting arrangements with your child's father are none of his business, and it's complete bullshit that he wants to interfere with the already tenuous ties between your daughter and her father. Get rid of this possessive clown. Why are you even discussing this with him?
It's none of his business.
You're the parent, not him. If you have decided that it's okay for your daughter to receive gifts from her father, your boyfriend needs to respect that. You should not be altering your communications with your child's father based on what your boyfriend thinks.
If you're comfortable sending regular updates and photos, keep sending them. Your boyfriend needs to grow up and stop being controlling. Less than a year and he's making demands about your child's relationship with their father. Fuck him. Run. What's best for your child?
That's all that matters.
Your partner sounds insecure and immature. Your boyfriend sounds abusive.
Going through your phone and accusing you, however subtly, of infidelity based on communication about shared parenting issues is awful. If sharing the address is a problem, it implies he thinks it is not your home but only his.
Boyfriend sounds awful. I know it is a Reddit trope, but he sounds like bad news and I think you need a plan to leave. He seems to be interpreting any contact with bio dad as romantic interest on your part, and this is ridiculous. Your child has two parents, even if one of them is relatively uninvolved. There will be contact between you and bio dad regarding your child, and he needs to be okay with this or walk.
Expecting no contact or constant consultation is ridiculous. My F21 boyfriend, M23, told his whole family my secret. How do I proceed?
Hi Reddit, long-time lurker but first-time poster. Throw away because I don't want this linked to my account.
I, 21F, have been dating Mark, 23M, for about a month at this point, but we knew each other for 3 years through mutual friend groups. So, I had a friend Brad, M22, that I'd known through primary school, and we ended up going to the same high school and university. Brad and I had never had any romantic feelings towards each other, and I truly saw him like a brother.
Mark knew about Brad and they were friends too.
Anyways, one night before Mark and I had become exclusive, Brad and I were hanging out after a class at his house, and we decided to have some drinks and watch a movie with his roommate.
I don't actually remember how much I drank, but I was pretty hammered by the end of the night. I don't remember what happened completely, but Brad and I ended up having sex. He took my virginity and I was way too drunk to consent to it.
Brad and I had a massive argument and I called Mark, who came straight away to pick me up.
Mark and Brad ended up getting into a massive fight which ended up in the cops getting called.
After that, I cut all contact with Brad and haven't spoken to him since.
I haven't told anyone about the incident, only Mark, and I asked him not to talk about it with anyone until I was ready. He completely agreed. Mark and I began dating about 4 months after the incident, but the whole situation had left me so shaken up that I haven't been able to be intimate with him, which he says he completely understands. He's been so supportive. So to the situation, I was talking to Mark's older sister yesterday when she asked if Mark and I had solved out intimacy issue yet. I got quite embarrassed as the question came out of nowhere, but I told her that we were working on it slowly. She then asked, "Is it because of what happened with your old friend?"
This caught me so off guard because only Mark knows about the situation. I asked how she knew about it and she confessed that Mark had told her. I asked her when he told her and she said the night it happened. I asked who else knew and she replied, "My whole family."
He was asking for advice. I began having a full-blown panic attack and left. He's been calling and texting a bunch after his sister told him, and I've told him to leave me alone for now.
My trust has been completely broken and at this very moment I don't know if I can trust Mark. My question is, how do I possibly move on from this situation and build trust with Mark? Is it worth salvaging this relationship or would it be in my best interest to let go? How do I even go about communicating with his family after this?
Edit. This for much more attention than I was expecting. Thank you significant other much for all the helpful responses and advice I've received. It has helped me see another perspective. I just wanted to answer a question about when Mark and I had the conversation. Mark and I had the conversation about him keeping the situation between us immediately after he had dropped me home after the incident.
We had a long private conversation and I opened up about exactly how I felt.
He promised that he wouldn't tell anyone and I believed him wholeheartedly. Regarding Mark's sister, we aren't close. We talk but we aren't at a point where I'd open up to her about my issues. I was also seeing a therapist after the incident had happened. However, they made me feel judged and I was no longer comfortable seeing them. I'm currently looking for a therapist that I can mesh well with. Regarding Brad's level of intoxication, from what I remember, he had a few beers. His roommate and I were taking shots.
Brad was always a heavyweight when it came to alcohol and I don't have a high alcohol tolerance.
I can't be certain on how sober Brad was as I'm not him.
I don't know. A young man was called to come rescue a young lady who had just had a really bad thing happen, fought and had to deal with potential legal issues. He must have been really worried and needed family support. He should have told you he reached out for help so you wouldn't be blindsided, but other than that I'd cut the guy a break.
Also, if you aren't getting professional help, please reach out to RAIN.org.
They have great resources and services for people who have been through what you have. Why would his sister ask you about anything intimate with her brother?
Like I'd never ever asked my sister-in-law about that. Mark's sister claimed that he told them the night it happened, presumably, when the police were called and he was afraid he would need legal assistance. At that point, had you spoken with Mark about your expectations of keeping it secret?
Your narrative implies that the request to Mark to keep it a secret was some time after cutting contact with Brad. By then, it sounds like the cat was out of the bag, as they say.
Mark was asking his own family for advice on how to respond to an unfolding situation. Now, I am very surprised that he has discussed intimacy issues with his family. That's rather more disturbing, in some respects. I'm confused. One night before Mark and I became exclusive, the incident happened with Brad. Mark and I began dating 4 months after the incident.
He came to your rescue, and he needed help processing what happened with the people he trusts the most.
Was this before you asked him to keep it a secret?
Either way, that's a lot for a teenager to process. If you like him, give him a break.
Update me. I disagree with those who are saying he did nothing wrong. He betrayed you by telling his family you were saw. You were too drunk to consent.
You asked him that night before he said anything to his family to keep it a secret and he told them anyway.
You weren't even dating then.
That's not okay.
I would seriously reconsider your relationship. I'm not sure what's going on with these commenters, but he did not need to disclose your rape to seek help from his family. He could have explained the situation and left out that detail. I would break up with him. He violated you a second time.
As a fellow survivor, I could not come back from this. Is this cheating?
19F and 22M.
I'm 19F, my boyfriend is 22M, we've been dating for about 3 months.
He has told me about how he likes to romantically and sometimes even sexually role-play with girls on Discord. I have no idea who these girls are. I'd rather not know, but I do know he's been online friends with them for years. I've never been really fine with it, but he says it relieves stress, so I let him as long as he doesn't talk about the girls with me. Sometimes I'll glance at his typing and the role-play is very sexual. I've never really thought about it as cheating until his female family member mentioned it. Should I be worried? He's sexting people, so yeah. Bro has a whole girlfriend and is roleplaying Discord girls loudly crying this generation is cooked. Definitely a form of cheating, hope everything goes well. Yes, red flag, dump is $.
Yes, this is cheating. And I promise he'll try to gaslight you about it, but it obviously bothers you and is just out of your comfort zone, and that in and of itself is reason enough to leave.
But yes, this is cheating. How would he feel if you were texting guys and role-playing sexually? 10,000% promise he wouldn't allow it.
Yeaaaah bye.
This man is ridiculing you. Playing right in your face, and it's so disrespectful.
Dump this creature.